In an unprecedented move, agents working for former President Donald Trump's legal team have detained prominent African-American attorney Marcus Franklin, sparking national outrage. The arrest took place late last night at Franklin's office in Washington, D.C., as part of an ongoing investigation into Trump's financial dealings. However, what was meant to be a quiet operation has quickly turned into a political firestorm. Franklin, who has been an outspoken critic of Trump's policies and legal maneuvers, was allegedly taken into custody under dubious charges of obstruction of justice. The detainment was met with immediate condemnation from civil rights groups and legal experts who called the arrest blatantly racially motivated. Protests erupted outside the D.C. courthouse, with demonstrators demanding Franklin's immediate release. The incident has ignited a broader conversation about racial discrimination in the legal system and the lengths to which some will go to silence opposition. As tensions flare across the country, many are left wondering, was this a deliberate attempt to intimidate black legal professionals, or just a desperate move by Trump's team to control the narrative? What happened next in this case would shock even the most seasoned political insiders. The once popular figures associated with the Trump administration would soon find themselves at the center of a growing scandal that no one could have predicted. Was Franklin's detainment just the beginning of something far more sinister? Or was this a catastrophic misstep for Trump's legal machine? As the news of Marcus Franklin's arrest spread across the nation, the political ramifications were immediate and profound. Many within the black community voiced their anger, seeing this as yet another attempt to suppress the voices of those who dared to challenge the former president's legacy. This is an attack on not just an attorney, but the very ideals of justice and equality, said activist Alicia Maxwell, speaking at a rally in New York. We will not stand idly by as they attempt to intimidate us. Amid growing public outcry, Trump's allies in the media attempted to downplay the situation, claiming that Franklin's detainment was necessary due to his alleged interference in a high-profile legal case involving Trump's financial records. However, these claims were met with skepticism, particularly after it was revealed that Franklin had no formal involvement in the case at all. Many viewed this as an obvious smokescreen designed to justify the detention and discredit Franklin's vocal opposition to Trump's administration. President Biden's response to the arrest only added fuel to the fire. Speaking at a press conference in the White House, Biden condemned the action as un-American and demanded an immediate investigation into the circumstances surrounding Franklin's detention. We cannot allow this kind of blatant abuse of power to stand, Biden said, his voice stern. Our democracy depends on the rule of law and equal treatment for all, regardless of race or political affiliation. As Franklin's legal team worked tirelessly to secure his release, the international community began to take notice of the unfolding crisis. Leaders from around the world, including Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and France's President Emmanuel Macron, expressed their concern over what many viewed as a troubling erosion of democratic principles in the United States. What we are witnessing in America is not just a political scandal, it's a blatant violation of human rights, Macron stated in a televised address. This cannot be allowed to continue. The international media was quick to pick up the story, with outlets in Europe and Asia closely monitoring the situation. Some experts warned that if Franklin's detainment went unchallenged, it could set a dangerous precedent for political dissenters and activists around the world. What's happening in America could reverberate globally, said renowned political analyst Shira Ali. It could embolden authoritarian leaders to take similar actions against their critics, knowing that the international community is too divided to respond effectively. Despite the global outrage, Trump's legal team remained defiant, doubling down on their claims of Franklin's alleged criminality. But as the days wore on, it became clear that the political and public relations damage caused by the arrest was far greater than anyone had anticipated. With Franklin's supporters growing in number, the question remained, could Trump's team salvage the situation, or had they set off a chain of events that would ultimately lead to their downfall? As Franklin's legal battle raged on, new revelations began to surface that cast doubt on the legitimacy of his arrest. Sources close to the investigation revealed that the charges against Franklin were largely based on flimsy evidence and unverified claims. Some insiders even suggested that the entire operation was a setup designed to discredit Franklin and silence him permanently. There's no real case here, one anonymous source said. This is nothing more than a political hit job. Franklin's defense team quickly filed a motion to have the charges dismissed, citing the lack of credible evidence and the apparent racial motivations behind the arrest. Legal experts across the country weighed in, with many agreeing that the charges against Franklin were not only unjust but also potentially illegal. "This is a clear violation of due process," said constitutional law professor John Andrews. "Franklin has been subjected to an unlawful arrest, and the evidence presented so far does not justify any of these actions." With tensions mounting, the question of whether this was a setup began to dominate the national discourse. Was Trump's legal team truly willing to go to any lengths to suppress their opponents, or had they miscalculated the public's response to such an aggressive tactic? Franklin's team vowed to continue fighting for justice, promising that they would expose the truth, no matter the cost. In a startling turn of events, former President Donald Trump himself weighed in on the situation during a live interview with Fox News. His comments were chilling, to say the least. "Marcus Franklin is just the beginning," Trump said with a cold, calculated tone. "There are more people out there who need to be put in their place. This is a war for the future of America, and I will do whatever it takes to protect my legacy and ensure that justice is served, even if it means taking extreme measures." Trump's words sent shockwaves through the political establishment, raising concerns about what lengths he might go to in order to protect himself and his allies. Some analysts feared that this was a dangerous escalation in the ongoing battle for control of the country's legal and political institutions. If Trump continues down this path, we could see the rise of a new form of authoritarianism in America, said political commentator Maria Sanchez. "We must all be vigilant in the coming days to ensure that the democratic system is not further undermined." As the investigation into Franklin's arrest continued, many wondered what the next few days would hold. Would Trump's team double down on their tactics, or would the mounting pressure from the public and international community force them to reconsider their actions? Only time would tell, but one thing was clear: the stakes had never been higher. In response to Franklin's arrest, protests erupted across major cities in the U.S., with people from all walks of life voicing their anger at what they saw as a blatant attempt to intimidate and silence political opposition. The streets of Washington, D.C., New York, and Los Angeles were flooded with demonstrators demanding justice for Franklin and calling for a full investigation into the actions of Trump's legal team. "We are not afraid," one protester shouted into a megaphone. "We will not be intimidated by anyone, not even Trump." At the same time, Franklin's legal team worked tirelessly to build their case and challenge the charges against him. They filed multiple lawsuits, accusing Trump's agents of illegal detention and racial profiling. Legal experts predicted that the case could have far-reaching consequences, potentially setting new precedents in civil rights law. "This is not just about one man," said civil rights lawyer Carla Jenkins. "This is about the future of justice in America, and whether or not we will allow such actions to go unchallenged." Despite the growing resistance, Trump's legal team remained steadfast, determined to see their plan through to the end. But as the protests and legal challenges mounted, the pressure on Trump and his allies began to intensify. The question on everyone's mind: how long could they maintain their grip on power before the tide of public opinion turned irrevocably against them?